r/AskReddit by Reddit tells. What is your favorite paradox? This sentence is false. True. I'll go, true. Yeah, that was easy. I'll be honest, I might have heard that one before, though. Sort of cheating. Simple, elegant, and a great introduction to people who is not familiar with paradoxes. The unexpected hanging. A judge tells a condemned prisoner that he will be hanged at noon on one weekday in the following week, but that the execution will be a surprise to the prisoner. He will not know the day of the hanging until the executioner knocks on his cell door at noon that day. Having reflected on his sentence, the prisoner draws the conclusion that he will escape from the hanging. His reasoning is in several parts. He begins by concluding that the surprise hanging can't be on Friday, as if he hasn't been hanged by Thursday. There is only one day left, and so it won't be a surprise if he's hanged on Friday. Since the judge's sentence stipulated that the hanging would be a surprise to him, he concludes it cannot occur on Friday. He then reasons that the surprise hanging cannot be on Thursday either, because Friday has already been eliminated, and if he hasn't been hanged by Wednesday noon, the hanging must occur on Thursday, making a Thursday hanging not a surprise either. By similar reasoning, he concludes that the hanging can also not occur on Wednesday, Tuesday, or Monday. Joyfully he retires to his cell confident that the hanging will not occur at all. The next week, the executioner knocks on the prisoner's door at noon on Wednesday, which, despite all the above, was an utter surprise to him. Everything the judge said came true. This thread is a ton of people naming paradoxes without explaining what they are. Mine is probably Zeno's dichotomy paradox, although having a favorite paradox is a weird thing. This one is basically that to reach a certain distance you have to reach halfway first. So if the door is 10 meters away, you first have to reach 5 meters, then after that 2.5 meters, then 1.25, and so on, which means you will never reach the door. The other one is the ship of Theseus, also known as Theseus's paradox, sometimes also known as the axe paradox. The axe version is that if you are given an axe and replace the wooden handle, is it the same axe? What if you then replace the blade? How many times can you repeat this process before the axe is no longer the same axe? Alternatively, the ship paradox is similar in that if you replace every part of the ship, is it the same ship or a different ship? Raises the question of identity. The cool thing about this is that your entire body is made up of a different set of cells every 7 years or so, as cells die. So can you really say you're the same person you were 7 years ago? The Galileo paradox. The sequence of square numbers. 1, 4, 9, 16, 25, 36, 49, 64, etc. clearly shows that there are a lot fewer square numbers than there are non-square numbers, as the distance between them gets increasingly longer. But any number can be multiplied by itself, and the result of this multiplication is a square number. So it must also be true that there are at least as many square numbers than there are non-square numbers. There is an infinite amount of square numbers, but still more non-square numbers. So over any finite, defined range of 3 or more numbers, there will still be more non-square numbers than square numbers. This one seems to make sense. Granted that. Definitely a brain blaster though. Or maybe I have it all wrong? This is a neat little one about economics that I've read somewhere. A wealthy businessman stops at a small town and searches for a hotel to rest for the night. He goes to a small dingy establishment. How much for the night? $100. The hotel owner at the reception answers, okay, here's the money, but I'll have a look at the rooms now. If I don't like any of them, you'll give me my money back, and I'll search for something else in this town. Deal, answers the owner. The owner gets the money, and while the businessman is checking the rooms, he runs to the bakery. Business had been slow. He did not have the money to pay the baker for his guest's breakfast bread for some days now. He owed him $100. The baker takes the money from the hotel owner and runs down the street to the coal retailer. Business had also been slow. He did not have the money to pay for his oven's coal this week. The baker owed the coal retailer $100. The coal retailer takes the money and runs to the cabaret. Not many people had been buying his coal. He did not have the money to pay for the prostitute's services last night, and she was not happy about that. She was owed $100. The prostitute takes the money and runs up the street again. She owed $100 to the hotel owner for using his rooms to receive her clients for a couple of nights, but they had not paid her yet, so she was also low on cash. The owner gets the money just in time for the guest to come back from his inspection. "I don't like the rooms. Give me my money back." And so he does, and the businessman leaves. So, before the businessman comes to town, there's $400 of debt between the town's inhabitants. After he leaves, there's $0 debt, without any value being created or added to the system. Money in equals money out. How's this possible? Because that's how economics works. If you pay off a debt you didn't lose or gain money, excluding interest, you just broke even on it, again assuming no interest. The omnipotence paradox. Can an omnipotent being create a stone so heavy they cannot lift? If so, then they are not omnipotent for not being able to lift it. Otherwise, they are not omnipotent either for not being able to create such a stone. Bootstrap paradox. A long time ago a peasant was strolling through the forest, where he finds a book. The book contained many secrets and tricks which the peasant exploited in order to become a king. Years later the book has decayed and grown old, so the king ordered for a perfect copy to be created, so that the knowledge inside would not be lost. Shortly after the copy was finished it gets sent back through time, and winds up in the forest, where a young peasant stumbles across it. The paradox is this: where did the book come from? A variation of this paradox is found in The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. In the future Link learns the Song of Storms from a man in a windmill. He then travels back to the past and plays the song in front of the man, so that he could learn it in the future. Who wrote the Song of Storms? Thanks for watching. Please leave a like, comment what your favorite paradox is. Subscribe to the channel for more videos.